Hi,
Hello.
I'm Julian.
And I am Tom.
We are Team Binge. We are here to talk about Ted Lasso. This is season 4, episode 2. This one was called Curiouser and Curiouser, and that is a difficult title to say enthusiastically because there's an exclamation mark in it, Tom. And here's where I'm going to start right off the bat, Tom. I'm going to give you a little quiz. Because we got some former, now that we're in England, we got some former Lasso cast members back. Who were you most excited to see in this episode that was back? Who were you like, oh, I'm glad that person's not dead, or currently cast on a Hulu show and can't make it, or working on another Bill Lawrence vehicle? Which one were you like, it's good to have him back?
I mean, I feel like the obvious ones are Beard and Roy, right?
You can only choose one, Tom. That's the
Okay.
whole point of the game. You only get one.
I'm just saying there's not necessarily a whole lot. I mean, you have May, you've got the pub crew, some other guys, but I mean, I think for me, it's the Beard of it all and the relationship that he has with Ted, I think is fantastic. So I think Beard was probably my favorite. How about yourself?
All of them, Tom. I liked having them all back. All right, so no, honestly, it was good to have Roy back. I will say that we do watch the show while my parents are still awake, while my children are still awake, and you just forget Roy's language until it's blaring at top volume, from the speaker system, and you're like, kids, just cover your ears. He's very funny and charming. You'll love him when you're older,
Oh, they love him now. They just don't tell you.
Yeah. No, it was good to have Roy back, and we were introduced to some new characters, which I'm excited about. I enjoyed this episode. Similar vibes as the last one. This is like putting on a warm blanket. How did you like this episode as a whole, Tom?
Yeah, I'd like this, I think, maybe more so than the first. Like, the first was kind of fun to see the fish out of water from the AFC Richmond crew kind of coming to KC, but I feel like it's definitely a love letter to Kansas City, and it was great and it kind of set things up, but finally being back here at Richmond and seeing kind of the new coach, the new dynamics, and what's kind of in play for the rest of the season, it's fun to be back. And I feel like they had quite a few jokes in this that I thought were fantastic and landed well, and bring in, again, both Roy and Beard back in the mix because they're just such fantastic characters that play off Lasso so well. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, what I'm interested to see what they do, and this is not a criticism or a complaint, but in other seasons, we typically had like a major conflict or like a big bad. We had your Ruperts. I mean, season 1, it was Rebecca working against Ted and like that secret. And this one, with the last 2 episodes, like, first conflict was, hey, can we get Ted back to England? Like, can we convince him to come back? We solved it. This one is, hey, Ted is now taking Alice Chilton's coaching spot and that whole dynamic. And everyone seems to be, like, on the same page, moving in the right direction. Part of me thought maybe the long term would be Rebecca, like, kind of secretly undermining this, or at least not putting her full support. But in this episode, we conclude with her discovering that she does love strong women and is rooting for them. So I guess I'm just interested in a full season if every episode is just going to have kind of a minor conflict that we overcome, or whether or not there's going to be, or if the big bad is just, the lack of support for women's sports, if that's supposed to be it. But from a character in the show standpoint, it's obviously like, what are we working against? Where's the conflict, I guess? Does that make sense?
No, I think that's a fair point. And then I guess we knew that Rebecca was kind of like a heel at the beginning of the first season because we knew her motivations for hiring Ted weren't great. But like, I feel, and I guess I'll talk about this now. Like, I didn't love the whole storyline with Rebecca here of like this whole feminism, and she feels like she has to like prove herself, or constantly reading books and talking to everybody about like feminism and everything, or like why she wouldn't have considered Alice Chilton for this job in the first place. Like, I don't know. It all just feels a little bit kind of forced. And like, I mean, at the end of the day too, like, the show is Ted Lasso. So the show is going to have to center around him. So him kind of coming back to a team that obviously already had like qualified women in these positions to be able to run the team. It is weird, But obviously Ted handles it well, as he does in most of these situations, of being kind, being, curious and not judgmental, asking questions and kind of trying to dig deeper. So I love the relationship that he was able to establish with Chilton. But again, I don't love what Rebecca has been doing. And I do feel like the show has kept it open for kind of Rebecca to continue to maybe be a little bit of a hurdle for the team.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it in the same way. Like, Rebecca's storyline didn't bother me so much, just because, I mean, sometimes we all do this. We have to, someone, shines a light on our personality or a part of ourselves that we didn't know it was an issue, and then we spend some time either, justifying it or having to deal with it or making a change, I guess. So, I don't know. I will always enjoy Higgins and Rebecca going back and forth. But we'll dive into it. Overall, I enjoyed this episode. I am interested in the Alice Chilton of it all and just how that develops as we end this episode with Beard, Ted, and Chilton. What that dynamic's going to look like. I think it's going to be pretty funny. Although one would argue when Beard came in and was like, I'm in, I'm back, Ted should have fired him because he's like, I've already got Alice. And then Beard would just be adrift. But anyways, let's dive into it. And before I do that, I just want to hit an admin note real fast. For those of you that listen to us on Spotify, I wanted to hit, it would mean a lot to us if, while you're listening to us right now, you go in and rate and review the podcast. And by review, it's simply a star system. It's a little bit confusing, but if you hit our podcast in Spotify, just the title, next to the gear in the app is 3 dots. And when you hit those 3 dots at the bottom, it says rate the podcast. Do us a favor, give us 5 stars. It helps us out. And honestly, it's a little bit confusing trying to find those stars on the app. So once again, gear, 3 dots at the bottom, rate the pod, hit 5. We really appreciate it. With that,
now, I'm assuming you just figured this out, how to rate our podcast.
Yes. Unfortunately, I had accidentally, let's just say it was in my pocket, gave us 1 star, Tom. And that's not at all what I wanted to do. And so in order to fix it, I had to do a little research. And so a strong 5 stars from me, although we'll see how this episode goes and whether or not you behave yourself, and then we'll go from there. But
I do want to say, before we do get too deep into the episode as well, I do want to start off each episode as we move forward. What is your Lasso level going into this episode?
5 stars, I guess? Is that? No. I think I left last episode Lasso level 2. I maintain my 2-ism, but by the end of the pod, we'll see if I'm at 11 or 12. But as of right now, I'm at 2.
Big jump.
Yeah.
On a 10-point scale. Impressive.
Speaking of Lasso levels, we start this episode with Ted awakening. I believe that's the term, with his hair disheveled, but only from sleep, not from stress.
Correct.
He's back in a lovely little, what do they call them, flat in London. And this is, I guess, above May's bar, or above the pub. They call them pubs, Tom. We're not in Kansas City, Julian. Get it together. And so he lives above May's pub. Great to have May back. She offers him a breakfast of Guinness. Tom, what's your beer breakfast of choice, if you could choose one?
Oh, it's not a Guinness. I'm not a guy that likes to chew his beer. This is not for me. I'm sorry.
Okay. You're more of a vodka breakfast guy, if I recall.
Exactly.
And then this wanker dude just won't die. This guy that every season has called him a wanker. I got to be honest. I thought this guy had passed from the mortal coil that we're all on, but he's apparently still around.
Yeah. I do like how Ted clocks, is it the footpath was closed, where he used to kind of do the walk and talks with Beard and get the coffees and everything. So it makes kind of the comment of saying oh, nothing stays the same. Yet this guy, calls him a waker, and it is he was a big jerk again. So he says, well, I guess some things stay the same.
Right. It would have been nice if Ted just punched him in the mouth, Now I'm down to Lasso level 1. Darn it. All right.
But it would have been nice.
It would have been nice. Punched him right in his mustache. All right. So Higgins and Rebecca, throughout this episode, this felt very much like a Barry Zuckercorn from Arrested Development. They've got a big binder, and he just hasn't had time to read it. He's dating again, but Higgins and Rebecca have this viability report that Higgins I mean, I love an acronym as much as the next person, but he has not. He's had time to memorize the acronym, but not the report, right?
I was confused at the beginning, so I assumed he was the one that prepared this report, but I guess the report got prepared for him, and he's should be reading it with Rebecca, but Rebecca does not, I guess, refuses the whole time and just leaves Higgins to it. But he did not write this report. Is that true?
That's true. This seemed to me like they hired a consulting firm that they paid an extraordinary amount of money, probably enough money to redo a locker room, just to tell them that this was a bad idea.
We did find out, though, it's Leslie R. Higgins, which I think Rebecca even kind of clocks like, ooh, what is the R? And I got to ask you, man, what do you think the R stands for?
Do you think this is something we already know and we've just forgotten, or do you truly think this was a mystery that they are trying to reveal to us in this?
No, it's going to be a mystery. Like the fact that Rebecca clocked it. Like if we already knew as an audience, we would have known. I'm sure we'll get angry emails. But
he's British, so it's probably like Leslie Reginald Higgins, right? That
was going to be my guess. Yeah. That's exactly where my mind went.
Less Reggie, they call him. His buddies called him in the streets, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so we've got this big report, and I thought it was, and to your point, this is maybe Rebecca continuing to kind of hinder this process, but she doesn't want to show it to Keely, right?
Yeah, she takes her copy of the binder and says, "Oh, I'll read it first or whatever." I don't understand this. Is she doing this maliciously? Does she not want Keely involved in the conversation, or she knows Keely's too excited about it and doesn't want to, I don't know, make Keely upset about what might be in this report? I don't really know what to make of it yet.
I don't know. I mean, if I was Keely, I would thank them for hiding the report from me because I wouldn't want to read it. Do you see the size of that thing? I'm dating again, Tom. I don't have time for this. I was down in the industrial district or whatever he says. Anyways, Coach Chilton shows up, and this actor is played by Tanya Reynolds, who I watch a lot of British TV, Tom. I am a BritBox subscriber, one of the many. There are dozens of us, Tom, dozens. I did not recognize this actor at all. She's very funny. She's got the right demeanor for this role. But were you familiar with her at all?
No, I have not seen her in anything, but I had the exact same sentiment as you. I saw her in the promos, I saw her in the trailer kind of thing, and just going into this, I feel like it's such a tough role trying to fit into the dynamics of Beard and Lasso and Kent and everybody here. But I thought she held herself incredibly well, and I really, really dig her character, and I want to know more about her backstory.
Yeah, she's icy, a bit icy in the beginning, a bit icy in the middle, and really icy at the end. So I mean, we'll see if Lasso can thaw her a little bit. I mean, he does. We see a glimmer, but she is resigning, and this is the discussion where she wanted the main role, she didn't get it, she agreed to be the assistant, and now she just wants to leave and help Ted transition, and she hits Rebecca with the "Did you even consider me or a woman for this role?" which the noise that Higgins makes when she does this and leaves, I don't know how to describe it. My wife described it as a squeak. I don't know how else to describe it, but Higgins.
Oh, it's the Higgins.
Great.
It's the Higgins gag, right? It was his gag reflex or whatever. Whenever he gets uncomfortable in a scene, like he did a bunch in the previous seasons, and now he got it in here. I thought it was a great tail end to this very awkward moment.
I guess I'd forgotten that was part of Higgins' quirks, is that he makes funny noises when he's... You know what? Never mind. I do remember this now. But this was more comical. The other times it feels like he's having some sort of medical emergency. But
he's getting better. He's controlling it.
Choking on a biscuit. Anyways, this is what essentially spins Rebecca out. She's now questioning whether or not she, like me, is an ally, Mm-hmm. Let's dive into the next one, which is Keely, Rebecca, and Higgins. This is them picking up this conversation, and Rebecca is trying to justify, hey, I can't believe she said that to me. Keely is in her corner. Higgins is in her corner, and this was very funny.
Yeah, well, I think she didn't Rebecca essentially is trying to say that she said these certain things and the whole concept the implication is everything, because Higgins is well, she didn't say some of these things, but again, Keely's there for her.
Yeah, I love how much that Keely is cheerleading for Rebecca. She wasn't in the room, but she's on her side regardless, and it's all great. And we do continue to see the glimmer of Rebecca's hesitancy to commit wholly to this women's team because, like, Keely's like, you'll spend any amount of money to make it successful. And she's like, ooh, I will not. All of this is interrupted by Ted showing up. How did you feel about brisket with the boss? Did this seem appetizing to you, Tom?
Not at this hour of the day, but she seemed very excited for it. And it did come with a little fork, which is pretty dope.
That was pretty dope. So what we've established here is your typical breakfast is not some sort of heavy, slow-cooked meat downed by a thick glass of Guinness. That's not what we would call Tom's breakfast?
That is correct. Usually it's a protein shake and a granola bar.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know we were talking about macros. I didn't know you were Roy Kent over there eating all this protein and just, I don't know. You want to tell us how much you bench and squat, Tom? I didn't realize we were broing out today. You watched this show about the Lady Greyhounds and now you've got to like drop your weightlifting. Awesome. Okay. I see where we're at.
I drink protein shakes because I don't work out. That's the thing, right?
Well, I don't think that's how that works.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong.
Oh, I love it though. Keep doing it though. We'll see. You'll gain a muscle eventually, you know? All right. So they informed Lasso's like, hey, I can't wait to work with Coach Chilton. She put together this great binder. A lot of binder talk in this episode, Tom. Are you a binder folder? Are you a sticky note, like colorful tab guy, Tom? Are you organized? I guess is the better question.
I am organized. I don't write things on pen and paper much anymore, but my son is a big arts and crafts kid, so we've got stuff riddled throughout this house.
I'm a legal pad guy, so next to me I always have a legal pad and a pen, and I write, don't drink protein shake this morning, every morning, and then I check it off because I don't. All right.
Doing great.
They find out, well, they informed Ted that Coach Chilton has resigned, and he's like, all right, well, she'll stick around till Friday. And they go to describe her, and I believe this is also a Arrested Development joke, where they're having a tough time describing her, and then we hard cut to the new trainer whose name is Caroline Seward, and that's the hard cut that we get to. And
I feel like this is like Austin Powery too, right?
True.
Like where they did all the
yep.
genitalia references, and everybody's just cutting from different scenes. So yeah, it was paying homage maybe to both.
I'm excited. Caroline Seward seems delightful. She seems very medically handy. We see it later on in the episode, and she's going to take care of Ted in any way, shape, or form.
Yep. She will do bum stuff.
Yeah. That was okay. Yeah. Honestly, I got a new doctor recently, and this must be in the medical community because they led with that as well, which I found a little bit strange because they're American and we don't typically say the word bum, but it is what it is. We go to, very briefly, and I was going to get upset. Ted sticks his head in and watches a classic Roy Kent conference where he's just swearing at people, and then he walks away. And I was like, no way, show. Don't do the thing where it's like, we're just going to show him here so that we can say he's in this episode. But I trust in Lasso, and Lasso we trust, and Brett Goldstein's back, and they spend some time talking together. And we do also have, in this moment, Lasso walking through the men's locker room, seeing all of the old names, and then the Believe sign, which has been... I thought they would like frame it or put it in something a little bit more permanent. No, it's just been taped and a little bit more permanent duct tape on the wall, you know?
Yes, it was just slightly repaired, which I get, like they're keeping the nostalgia of the original, but I agree, maybe frame it for a little bit more protection. But yeah, you get to see some of these old familiar names like McAdoo and Rojas, so I'm assuming we might see some of these as cameos or just walk in the hall.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do you remember in season 1 how long it took us to learn like the team and their personalities? Like it was pretty centric on coaching, ownership, and then a little bit of the team stuff. When you reminded me of those names, I'm remembering like how much like the show grew around the team. And so I'm going to be interested because in this episode, we really only meet like 3 members of the team that have like memorable, I don't know, qualities, names, like, and so I'm interested to see how they like grow that as a cast. Because obviously we have Boots, we have the Irish twins, we have the ACL terror, who I'm assuming she's one and done. But I'm interested to see like how they grow out this team and like what storylines they chase there.
Yeah, I think it did take a little bit of time. I think it was really just the Roy Kent and Jamie Tart dynamic is kind of how it started. And you had the other players around, but they were just kind of one-liners. And then probably not until later in the season did we really start kind of rounding them out a little bit. And they didn't feature a whole lot until like maybe like the Sam storylines with him kind of opened up his own restaurants and everything on his side. I'm assuming we're going to get quite a bit more, but I think it's going to take us some time because the focus again is Lasso and the dynamics that he's going to create with this new squad.
Right. Well, I'm interested to see where they take this team. I hope it is as memorable and fun as the last team. The conversation here with Roy is mainly about his knees, Tom. You and I have drinker's knees. Roy Kent has soccer knees. And I love this conversation where he says something like, we're put together by rubber bands. And Ted says, yeah, I like to think God focused on our brains and hearts. And then once he got past our privates, he just kind of phoned it in. I thought that was a very funny line.
That was a great line. And again, he's got football knees, not soccer knees, bro. We're back in England.
All right. I'll work on it. If I work on it, can I be Lasso level 3?
We'll talk about it later.
Ugh, that's a no. All right. You sound just like my dad. All right. We have Kat and Lasso discussing Chilton, and I like how everyone describes her as a bit icy and we'll just say mean or at least unfriendly. And Roy's like, I think she's hilarious, which is just so fun.
Yeah, I love Roy. I think Roy and Chilton are definitely kindred spirits.
Oh, yeah. I think they'll get along swimmingly or not get along swimmingly, but still respect each other. I think that's what it comes down to. And I didn't clock it at first, but Ted is looking at Beard's space, which has all like the crumpled up paper and his desk, and I guess he's longing to. I found this a little bit strange that Beard wouldn't like. I mean, it's supposed to be strange. Ultimately, Beard is hobo Beard hiding like behind these blinds, but I don't know. I enjoyed this. I enjoy the conversation of it's almost like two lovers that like. They're I don't know, the third person in this love triangle. It's Beard and Roy and Ted competing for him. And he's like, do you want him back? And Ted, rightfully so, is like, I can't take him from you. Like, you've got to give him up or he's got to come willingly. I loved all of this.
Yeah, that was so good. I'm assuming, like, the reason he is... Like, first off, the blinds gag was hilarious, where he holds up the blinds and you see this next level of disheveled Coach Beard here, where his hair is just ridiculous, his beard is just outrageous, and yeah, I would assume maybe the lack of Ted and who knows what happened in their marriage, I guess, with Jane, and maybe that has taken him over some sort of ledge because he's a ball of emotion right now.
He looks like he has run back and forth across America over the span of several years after he doesn't know what to do with his life.
Yeah, Forrest Gump style for sure.
Or he looks like a guy that crashed on an island from a FedEx plane and, befriended a volleyball. All of those things are what he looks like.
Any Tom Hanks movie, really.
Really? Yeah. He looks like he led a small squad to go save a private in World War II whose brothers had all died, Yeah. He looks.
I'm pretty sure he's the captain now.
Yeah. He's the captain. He looks like a guy that runs a Christmas train, that is computer graphicked. Something
kind of looks like the sheriff of a small kid's room.
Right. With a pull string. I gotcha. Can we think of any more? Or should we move on? Should we start naming Christopher Nolan movies too? I'm on board. We haven't done it in a while. The Odyssey. All right. Anyways, let's go.
Moving on.
Let's
Lasso.
move on. All right. Lasso comes across his new office, which I've spent enough time in rooms that are this like concrete brick that's been painted over that I recognize this room, and these are the types of rooms where business gets done. So I'm all for it. But I just like Lasso, like looking over Chilton stuff, seeing the like organization, the inspirational quotes, and just like I almost feel like he knows there's some kindred spirit in their way of coaching that he's picking up on.
Yeah, I think ultimately she's going to be kind of like a mix of both Beard and Lasso, like with the organization, the quotes, her knowledge and skill of the game, plus her like, wanting to do motivational kind of things for the women's team. Like I think that's kind of where we're going to end. She's going to be that perfect little kind of like the puzzle piece that is needed to push this team forward.
Sure, that makes sense. After their introduction, which I think they'll be fast friends over time, they then walk over to the ladies' locker room, and I was like, he can't just walk in. They've got to do something here. You can't just walk in, Ted. Come on, be smarter than that. And ultimately, he goes in, meets the team, and we find out that they're in like the youth locker room, and it's very tight quarters, and they share it several days a week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they say it's poupe.
Oh, do they? That's great.
Well, they use a more colorful word, but we'll say poupe.
Oh, I like, yeah. I've always liked poupe. We then go to the press conference, and I appreciated Ted being like, hey, Coach Chilton, you know this team, you've done the research, I've read the binder, come join me. And she, I guess, is just trying to distance herself from all of this, right?
Yeah, and I like how she doesn't stand for the joke where he kind of says like, oh, why don't you come with me? Like, won't last till Friday or whatever that joke was. Like, she's immediately just not having any of his humor, doesn't care for it.
Oh, her deadpan is pretty good. Like,
Yes.
That's a practiced deadpan, and she pulls it off quite well. Ted's conference begins with Rebecca's speech, where, once again, Rebecca's trying to make up for things she said or decisions she's made earlier in the episode. And she's just like, I'm an ally. You guys know I'm an ally. I'm very good with women. A lot of smart people are saying I'm the best with women. I'm great. I'm an ally. And it's quite funny.
Not to Ava Braun or Cruella DeVille.
No, that was weird. That was weird when these people are like, oh, so you love all women? And this is a little bit like Higgins being like, I love them. Well, you can't love everyone, So we're putting these two in different situations, but very funny. Ted does his introduction, and all of the questions are about the men's team. This seemed a little bit on the nose. This just seemed like, I don't know, were these press people not informed what he was there for? I don't know. This seemed a little bit heavy-handed.
It was a little bit, but did you notice? So in the previous piece where Ted sneaks his head in and sees Roy doing the press conference, Roy is calling on the press and says Paddington, and then now we come to this and we see this guy stand up with holding onto a sandwich, has a red hat and a blue overcoat. So this is Paddington was asking one of these questions to Ted.
I did not get that at all.
It was so good.
I didn't get that at all. I'll have to go back and rewatch. Good catch. I was too busy catching them letting us know that Phil Dunster wasn't going to be in the show by letting us know that Tart moved on to Barcelona, or
Yes.
Barcelona, as they like to say. So, no, I missed Paddington, but I caught Tart,
The Paddington was great. Go back and watch it. He's sitting there with the marmalade sandwich. He's got a big beard. He looks great.
I'll look it up. But we then have Roy walking through and seeing Beard, who, once again, disheveled as disheveled gets, reading The Time Traveler's Wife, but really he's just watching the presser secretly on his phone. Tom, have you ever hidden what you were reading inside of a book or a different cover, or have you ever hidden anything in a book other than drugs in that hollowed out Bible?
I mean, yeah, there was that time that I had like a pick that I hollowed out in my Bible,
Sure.
and then I escaped prison in Alcatraz.
And then
Other
you
than that,
found
no.
Then you found redemption at, we'll say, I don't know, Shawshank, something along those lines.
Yeah, San Mateo Island. I don't know.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Say
That's
what?
right.
Say Wataneo? I don't know.
Yes, that's where they went to Mexico
sounds
afterwards. Right. You're nailing it. Yes, keep going. And what were the characters' names? Who produced the movie? What other movies have they produced? We can do this again.
Tim Robbins, he's in Silo.
Yeah, he is in Silo as Bernard. Well, maybe we just spoiled it for people, but Bernard is around. Anyways, then I believe we are at the first... Tom, help me again. Training, practice, what do they call it? It's on the pitch, but they call it... What do they call it?
I mean, training session I think is fine. I don't think... does it have another British word that I'm blanking on?
I thought there was another British word. We'll call it training. And they are discussing the team. Lasso keeps asking, like, questions, and Chilton is having none of it. She's like, I don't like riddles. But we do find out that he read the dossier, which is a French word that I have perfected and can say very well. And they're going through kind of the people on the team, and we've got two that are in a relationship on the team, and Chilton doesn't seem to be thrilled by it just because they're teammates, and I think she feels like it will get in the way of the game. Oh, because one like knocks the other one down and then picks her up. And I was like, oh, they're just good sports. And then they're a little bit closer than good sports.
Yeah, that's kind of what Lasso did. Yeah. He thought they were the sisters of the twins, right?
Right. And then we have the Irish twins, which one is named Siobhan, and the other one is, I'm going to say, Ireland, maybe? I don't remember the other one's name. But I thought it was very funny that even in soccer, Tom, goalies are weird, and our goalie Boots doesn't wear gloves, and that also felt like someone watched Shoresy when they said goalies are weird.
I think goalies are known to be a little bit eccentric, but it is bananas not to be wearing gloves in modern game because goalie gloves are essentially stickum, like they just are so make the game a lot easier for keepers. But I did like the conversation that we have with Boots later and her reasoning for not wearing them.
Right. Now, when I played as a child, and I was a goalie, and it was devastating, my gloves had little rubber dots on them in order to help grip the ball. I'm pretty sure I recently watched soccer, and they've got, like, Mickey Mouse gloves on, where they're, like...
They're huge.
It's size too big. That seems like cheating to me, and not in the spirit of the game. So I'm on Boots' side. I don't care if they lose every game. She's playing it as God intended. That's how I feel.
Exactly.
All right, we have... Biscuits with the Boss, but this is Roy and Rebecca's Biscuits with the Boss. This was incredible. Just incredible. Hey, protein guy, tell us about his cookie, Tom. Go ahead. This is your time to shine, bro.
When he first comes and brings like the brown paper bag and puts it on the desk and it just thuds, I'm like, oh, this is so fantastic. Him replacing the butter with beef tallow is a choice.
Yep.
And I loved it. It's the healthier version of this Biscuits with the Boss concept.
I didn't know it could be so healthy or so heavy. Just incredible. This actually was a great moment, and it went by so fast if you blinked you missed it. But she goes... Roy, what's your definition of a feminist? And his response is, oh, wait, I know this joke. And then it gets interrupted because Keely walks in. And I just thought that was such a great line. And we don't get to hear his response. But honestly, I probably shouldn't, but I really wanted to hear his joke, you know?
That was great. I love Roy.
Roy is wonderful. Keely wants a new locker room. And I didn't realize this until Roy points it out because he knows Keely so much, but she wants a 300,000 pounds for a new locker room. And
no, 3,000 pounds, right? It wasn't that much.
300,000. She got to build a building, man. It was a lot.
No, we just got to update a room, not build a building. I thought you came in with a pretty reasonable offer.
No. It was a very high number because the whole point was she wanted the visitors' locker room, which was her game plan all along, as Roy points out. So... You can tell me I'm wrong. People can reach us at teambingepodcast@gmail.com, but I'm pretty sure the figure she throws out is in the several hundreds of thousands, not the 3,000s. Okay. If we're struggling to get 3,000 for this team, we're doomed from the beginning, Tom.
That's fair. I mean, Roy does point out that budgets aren't a real thing, which I love.
So good. She's like, no, they very much are a real thing. And he's like, that someone made up. And honestly, I started to think about it a little too hard, and I think Roy's right. Budgets may just not be a real thing that people make up, you know?
Correct. Yeah.
This is then where we see your favorite characters that you missed because you didn't miss Beard or Roy. You only missed the pub crew, and they were all back in style. And they say some things, and I was like, okay, please, pub crew, go along your way. All of this is interrupted because Beard sends Ted a cup of milk, a pint of milk. This was so much milk. Why did he send him milk, Tom? What was happening here?
I don't know. And then, like, May says it's from Mr. Gladstone. Is that a reference I was supposed to know from a movie or a thing? I don't get this.
If we were better podcasters, we would have looked it up. Honestly, I heard Gladwell, so I was like, oh, they're reading Malcolm Gladwell books together. But yes, this has got to be some sort of deep reference to a movie or something that these two love, because that's their love language, is talking about movies together. Kind of like our love language is discussing your protein shakes that you drink every morning and how much you squat. But Ted and Beard finally have a conversation. And I love that he's like, why are you dressed like this? He's like, I'm in disguise. And he's like, I'd love to see your eyes. And we have a quick cut where Beard is like, listen, I understand the plight you're in. Women's sports suffers from this, this, and this. And they're ex-lovers that can't quite come together in this moment, you know?
Yeah, it's fantastic. The way that they go back and forth, essentially say, like, you know, I can't ask you to leave him. I'm with Roy now. Roy is very good to me. All while You're My Inspiration by Chicago plays in the background was just poetry. This is the kind of comedy I come for.
Yes, it was incredible. Also, I want to point out that Beard points out that the reason the individuals play women's sports and coach women's sports is for pure love of the game. And that's something that both these guys, it matters to both of them. And we do get a shot at Ted's like, it's just like coaching college again. And Beard's like, no, those they get paid more now. They get paid a lot. Which I thought was a funny adjustment from a couple of years ago. And him and Jane's relationship was always up and down, topsy-turvy, a roller coaster ride of emotions, right? So I mean, we wanted these crazy kids to make it, but he doesn't want to discuss it, so something happened here, right? They are no longer together?
I would assume it's part of the aggressiveness of Beard's beard.
Okay.
It's because of shenanigans going on with Jane, because he, again, turns into Forrest Gump and just runs out the room, so who knows?
You don't think he just lost a bet and this is his penance, that he's got to grow out his hair and his beard? And maybe. I guess if you were Beard and you lost a bet, they'd make you shave your beard, not grow it out longer.
That'd make more sense.
Then you're just empowering him, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And I don't think the beard, it doesn't carry as much gravitas when there's so much hair atop it.
That's
there needs
fair.
to be just the beard.
That's fair. He should have a mohawk and that giant beard. He should be well groomed on top with a mohawk that looks dope, and then that giant beard. Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yep.
All right, quick cut to Rebecca and Higgins. They still have not read the report, and I don't know if you caught it. There's like twice in this episode where they give us a radio station playing. Was this cut from the other seasons? We get this like DJ from the local where he's like, oh, our next expert can prove definitively that God's not real. And then later in the episode, it's like this guy wanted every day to be the weekend. He used AI and now he's dead. What? Was this something I just don't remember from the first 3 seasons? And man, I look forward to all the emails we're going to get about the things we don't remember. People are already pretty nice to us on the internet, so they're only going to get nicer.
I was confused too with these like little talk tracks as like scene transition bits just to kind of throw in an extra joke. Like I think in the beginning of the episode when like Ted was waking up and he had like the TV on in the background, wasn't there like a morning show that was on?
Yep.
Of like 2 people kind of doing this style banter. So I don't know if it's just more of that, and maybe Lasso's going to go on the show at some point. So they're just keeping the characters like front of mind, but it was a bit weird and off-putting.
It was. And speaking of weird and probably off-putting, Beard is watching Ted on the pitch through binoculars, and Roy observes this. I just love how Roy takes things in. He observes, he sighs, he just moves on with his day, you know? Just great.
Watching Beard like doing some glassing there, and then his pose where he is just like on all fours, just like poking his head over the railing was just, again, fantastic. I loved it.
Tom, you and I have spent dozens of hours of our lives glassing together. What did you think of, could you sit in his, I don't know, I'm going to call it like child's pose? Could you have sat like that for several hours, or would you ever been able to walk again afterwards? I know I wouldn't be able to.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way my back could handle that for sure.
He needed
one of those
tripod.
little, yeah, I was going to say a tripod or one of those little pop-up chairs, but then he would be exposed, and he's not going to expose himself.
That's true. He grabbed cover. That was smart. That was very smart. Ted asked Chilton about Boots' origin story. If we spend most of the season with Chilton and Ted just talking to each other on the sideline, I'm for it. I've enjoyed every one of their conversations.
And Julian, what's as a grown man, what's your thoughts on Batman?
My thoughts on Batman are I just love all the wearable tech, That's what I'm super excited about. Actually, what I really love about Batman is he doesn't use guns. He just beats people to a pulp. So they probably, I don't know, have to go to long-term care for the rest of their life, which is not funny, but at least he's not shooting them, That's something.
That is something. I just think he's a jerk. He never says goodbye. He just waits for somebody to turn the other direction and then just leaves. Sure. And then they turn back and he's just gone.
Sure. I definitely was fed on the internet recently. It was like Batman leaving, but you can see him running away. And so someone just filled in those gaps with someone in a Batman costume running down the hall. And it really does take the gravitas away when you can see his little rear end in those, those black tights running away. Anyways, it's just Ted being curious about his players, right? And this is working on Chilton because Chilton is also a coach who cares about her players. So Ted walks over and talks to Boots, and Boots is like, listen, I like the way the ball stings when it hits my hands. They tried to make me wear them. Yeah, that's right. And she's like, life's about feeling, don't you like feeling things? And this conversation gets a little bit uncomfortable for Ted, which
the ending of this is great. When she says she doesn't wear oven mitts, I'm like, oh, that's funny. But then when she gets to the comment of not having to wear condoms, and then just Ted not really responding, just walking away with his hands in his pockets was so great.
Yeah, his little jog with his hands in his pockets is pretty incredible. I don't know if that is a new character choice, but when he is in retreat like that, very funny. Ultimately, for Chilton to be like, so did you figure her out? And he's like, goalies are nuts. That's all I know. How did you like spending time in the locker room with Keely and Roy? Did you want more in this relationship, or are you happy that we're slow rolling it?
I mean, I'm not, if I'm being honest, I'm not happy about another season of will they, won't they with these two. I feel like we've already done that plot line, and it does seem like they're trying to do that again. So I don't know, because I feel like there was a couple of weird energy, weird glances back and forth to each other. But I did love this scene and the respectful, long-standing tradition of messing with a guest locker room was great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad told me a story about college football teams that painted the visitor team pink because they ran a psychological test that's more calming, as a color to see on the walls. So they would, rather than be fired up about the game, they would be a little bit more calm and relaxed. So I love that in this one, he just made all of the benches. He gave them a little soft foot so her pen keeps sliding back and forth. But Tom, I want to go back to this. It feels like in all the shows that we've talked about, the will they, won't they, you're just over it as a plot device in every show, it feels like. Are you over love, Tom?
I mean, again, I don't mind it in a show. I just don't want it to be the central thing season over season. The Pam and Jim type situation. They did that for maybe a season, and then second season they were got together or whatever. For this show, I don't love it. I'd rather the characters just move on. Have a good, healthy friendship and relationship at work, but then have the characters do something more meaningful.
Sure, I got you. One sec, Tom. I'm just going to write something down on my legal pad next to me. Tom doesn't believe in love anymore. What happened to him? Why is he broken? Okay, sorry. I just wanted to write that down. So
broken. That's
I love I loved all of the locker room stuff. I loved the Keely longing glances. I guess Roy swinging a hammer really does it for her. And then I love that they were not alone, Tom. They are not alone because Jonathan the rat is with them. And I thought this was very funny.
The understudy
Yes.
to another rat, apparently. But I loved like the flickering lights, like gave me like Widow's Bay vibes of him
Yep.
like holding the hammer, the flickering lights that he purposely like made flicker. Like all of this was just fantastic.
Oh, it was great. And then that middle section that he stood up in order to divide the locker room cleverly drops back down to be like a middle cubby. Like I loved all of this. It was very funny. Give me Roy Kent. Give me Keely. And I'm fine with the will they, won't they. I think they'll solve this sooner rather than later. I would think. I think
When you say saw, like, what do you mean? Do you think they're going to get together?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think the audience wants these two together, and I think they're gonna do that sooner rather than later. But every time I make a strong prediction like this about a show, like such and such isn't the killer, they typically turn out to be the killer. So maybe I'm just wish casting what I want. I don't know. Speaking of people that want what they want, Ted and Chilton are on the sideline, and they're observing the twins. And we get some folksy wisdom from Ted. Ronald McDonald shares his wisdom, as Roy would have called him. And we learn about Hank and Howie, the twins that kept, like, one-upping each other, which drove one of them to become a doctor and the other one to burn down the other one's abortion clinic and go to prison. The escalation and story of this was, I'm just chef's kiss, Ted. I loved it. I mean, it was great.
I can't wait for season 5 when we eventually meet Hank and Howie.
Sure, yes, when he's back in Kansas City and they have to go get him again. All of this for Chilton to just be like, what's happening? What are you doing? What are these stories? I don't. But secretly, she's enjoying it, right? Ted's growing on her a little bit.
So, yeah, I think there's like kind of breaking the surface a little bit. But yeah, I mean, ultimately she doesn't like maybe his like attitude, which again, very similar to like the Roy-ness of it, where kind of a hard shell. But, you know, there is some respect for what Ted is trying to do here.
That's right, because he's just trying to figure out what makes folks tick, you know? All of this to be undone by Josie, who's our lead striker, captain striker, head striker.
Our Danny Rojas.
Actually, Captain Striker's the one that's hunting for Wolverine, so she wouldn't be Captain Striker.
Wow.
She'd be... I think what I just said was true. I'm pretty sure that's right. Please
You
don't.
didn't know the Winter Soldier, but you knew a deep cut for Wolverine.
Well, I was in high school when those X-Men movies came out, so I think that's right. Like, yeah. Anyways, I mean, Rebecca Romaine was Mystique. You know, that was something. Made an impression. Yeah. Let's move on. Josie's injured. I felt bad for this character. They were like, this is Josie. She's in episode 2. This is Josie. She's not going to be any more episodes because she tore her ACL. So goodbye, Josie. But the more important thing is we see Chilton kind of dive into action here, like calm her down, want to help, want to go to the hospital with her. She truly cares about the players. And obviously this is something that Ted clocks.
Yeah, for sure. This is giving us, like, without her saying it, because we know she's kind of a little bit guarded. She's not going to say it, but this is Ted clocking that, yes, she is a kind-hearted person that does care for this team.
Right. And speaking of people that care for one another, Roy and Keely are having a conversation in the locker room where he's like, what if someone was, you know, in love with someone and they were afraid of losing someone because their heart belonged to another? And, like... Obviously, it's that play on, it could be them, Roy talking about him and Keely, but it's really him talking about Ted Beard himself. And I love this so much. Because I think he says he, and Keely's like he. She clocks the he in it, and I thought it was great.
I did. I think 2 seconds before Keely said Beard, I think I said Beard out loud to my wife. I'm like, that was great.
Right. Ultimately, her advice is you shouldn't keep people that belong together apart. And... I think she's referring to her and Roy, and I think she's referring to Beard and Lasso, and I think it's going to work out for all 4 of them.
Okay.
Why is Rebecca hiding from Chilton? We have this very funny moment where a lot of people standing in corners are just putting their face into walls in this episode, but why does she hide from Chilton in the hallway.
I mean, she blended in. She blended in so well,
Yes,
like wearing a white blouse against the blue wall. Yeah, she had no chance. And then again, Higgins' like reaction being very awkward, I thought was great. But yeah, I feel like this is just to make maybe this final scene that much more awkward between the two. So
this last scene is awkward, my friend, and we're gonna dive into it because let's get there first. But yeah, I guess she has been called out by Chilton. She doesn't want to have a further conversation, especially as she's still trying to figure out whether or not she's a feminist or not, which I don't know. I think, is that what AI is for, Tom? Are we supposed to be able to talk to AI and ask them if we're allies or feminists, and then AI tells us? I think that's what AI is built for, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to ask Gemini.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'll just sit here in silence because that's compelling. But you get back to me after Gemini gives you an answer.
Wasn't that the name of your band in college? Sit Here in Silence?
Sit Here in Silence. Yes. We were band is maybe the wrong term. We didn't have instruments and no one sang. So, I mean, it's in the title. Come on. We find out when Chilton gets back that we've got an ACL tear from Josie, so she, I guess, is gone, right?
Yeah, she's out for the season, and yeah, I mean, the thought was she was going to be our star striker, and I do like how Chilton says this, right? Like, you know, she was going to be our star striker. Ted clocks it, and again, we now know definitively that she is questioning this, and I think that is kind of the reason why Ted pushes so heavy at the end with letting all the other interviewees kind of go and kind of putting all of his eggs in the Chilton basket.
Right. Let's go to breakfast, Tom. These two are sitting at a table, drinking their protein shakes and granola bars. And you clocked it, I clocked it. This is Walker from Silo, the other show that we're currently podcasting on. We would encourage people to watch. She's doing a great job. And they discuss feminism, and I guess we see, two sides of this coin where her mom is not real supportive of all of this. And so Rebecca is kind of weighing her mom's opinion against how she feels and what she's doing, and realizing maybe that she's a little bit more of an ally than her mom is, based on what her mom says. I don't know. I don't know what this was about, other than...
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like, yeah, because when mom says, like, what, women are monsters, like, men started it and then women perfected it. Like, I feel and maybe it's like a generational thing, because Rebecca even says that at the end during that conversation when she constantly keeps interrupting Alice. But they're trying to make it seem like, yeah, just generations of women maybe treat women differently. And I'm sure that's not wrong, but... getting it from now, like the mom's character, I think is interesting and kind of rounds out Rebecca's feelings a bit more.
Right, because Rebecca's like, hey, like, am I a feminist? And her mom goes, oh, I think I raised you better than that, which is a weird response to that. But I don't know. I think this is something that you and I can solve right now in this moment. So, or we can go and... see the new locker room, Tom. And that's exactly... So Chilton's last practice is ending, and Lasso's like, hey, let's go this way. And we go into the new locker room, and Keeley has hooked them up. It looks great. More room, 8 showers. Their names are on the wall. You can see... Unlimited
tampons. Yep. Everybody's a winner.
That's exactly right. And everyone is happy about all of those things. And you can see that this is a little bit overwhelming for Chilton emotionally.
Well, I think she just didn't want to see the new office, right? Because Lasso says, hey, do you want to go see our new offices? And she just didn't care for it. She was just out of the room.
Right.
I don't think she was overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tom. She's staunchly anti-new office. She loved the old office. She loved that gray, slathered concrete brick. The way you couldn't hang anything with a nail because it's impossible to put a nail through concrete bricks. But yeah, that's. I guess I got it wrong, Tom. Good point. I didn't give it enough credit But this scene with Roy and Beard, and Roy having to come up with a reason to fire Beard by looking up this old regulation, and Beard knowing the regulation by heart, and going into, like, you once muttered under your breath about a call an official made, and Beard being like, you told that official you were going to rip his head off and use his head as a toilet. This was all just beautifully done.
It was all fantastic. Then Beard kind of finally coming to the realization that he's giving him an out, like Roy is, for Beard to join Ted was great. And then as we start this scene, it has Beard making like an office supply version of Ted with paper clips and an eraser and tape dispensers. It was so funny.
Right. And when he's caught, he swipes it off the desk. Just comedy gold. I laughed. I cried. I laughed again. This brings us to, I don't know, we could have ended on this next scene, which is in the coach's new offices, or in the coach's office. Lasso gives Chilton a gift, and then, like, lets her know that he knows her story. He's looked her up, like, what kind of a player she was, how unfortunately her career was cut short by ACL tears, and he's like, hey, your story doesn't end here. Like, we're not essentially firing you. I know you wanted the big job, but I think together we can build something. Like, will you stick around and help? I thought this was all, I mean, this is the Ted Lasso that we know and love, and these are the types of storylines we like. So I felt we should have ended here because I have thoughts on where we go from here. But I enjoyed this scene very much.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like, this is that heart and that warmth that we have from Lasso kind of coming to fruition as he kind of confronts Chilton here and kind of like says about, because again, he did his research, right? It wasn't just her creating the binder. He did some research on her. And apparently everybody has to have bad knees if you want to be a coach at AFC Richmond. It's just part of the gig. I felt a little bit bad for all these interviewees that are all sitting outside that just essentially got brought in to be pawns so Ted could like tell them to leave. But this was a great scene, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I think knowing how the market is right now, this is not the worst thing that's happening to people that are interviewing for jobs, but it does seem like they sat him on that bench for a little while only to send him away. But I thought the gift thing was also very funny. He gives her a goodbye gift, and then he takes it back because she's not leaving. And
that's coming back, right? I feel like it's going to be some sort of meaningful gift that's going to make sense. And when she maybe eventually takes a head coaching job or whatever else, like, we're going to find out what that gift was, right?
Yeah, it's probably like, I don't know, a bunch of granola bars for her breakfast because she loves to have a protein shake and granola bar every morning, you know?
I assumed it was I assumed it was an Apple Watch or some sort of Apple product.
That's a wearable good point. He's like, I really knew you would want the new iPhone 21 XFX or whatever. Like, it has all these features. Look at all the security. It's definitely not listening to us right now and feeding us ads. You know, Apple's great. All hail Apple. You're probably right, Tom. That's exactly what was happening. But she commits to staying. I like this. And you know who else commits to staying, Tom?
Beard. I feel like Beard's timing ended up working out well, but had he come in before she committed, this would have been awkward.
Yeah. If he'd been like, I'm back, baby, I'm your assistant, she would have been like, well, yeah, no, I guess I'm still leaving. Thanks. And then we would have found out what the gift was. Yeah, good point. Yeah. This was well-timed. All right. The end of this episode. And once again, I feel like we could have ended it there. Instead, we have this quick scene with Higgins and Rebecca where they finally got into this report. Oh, by the way, it's what we all knew it would be. It's like, there's not a good indicator that this is going to work out financially. And then they also throw this thing in where it might also affect the men's team. That seemed like it's a little bit weird to say, Tom, but it felt like they were like, people won't feel the stakes are high enough if it's just that the women's team won't work. We also have to make it affect the men's team. And that is almost the show telling on itself a little bit, right? I don't know. That it felt a little bit wrong in the way that they added that little detail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like, maybe that's the reality in some of these situations, and like they can't now sign the Zava or whatever because they spent X amount on the women's team or a new locker room, whatever, which is all just kind of bogus. But yeah, again, I think the show is just going very heavy-handed on like the struggles which are understandable that women's
Right.
sports are dealing with right now. And yeah, trying to throw the men's team, I guess, back in here just adds that extra layer, I guess, of like financial discrepancy and everything between men's and women's leagues.
Right. I did like Higgins' quote. He said, "My mom used to say, strong women stand up for themselves and stronger women stand up for others." Thought that was very poignant, and
Great quote.
he really had that quote like in his back pocket and used it at the right moment. Tom, I wish I had the ability to have quotes in my brain and use them in the right moment. I typically have like half the quote memorized, and I'm like, well, C.S. Lewis once said that, and it's kind of like, and then you get the gist, and then we move on. I appreciate that Higgins has it locked and loaded. So maybe as a society we should watch less television and read more quotes and have them ready to. Actually, I can quote Arrested Development off the top of my head. Now I'm concerned.
He struggles to do it. Listen, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
All right, cool. Who said that? Why are you telling me
Zig Ziglar.
this? Oh,
The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain.
okay.
Do what you can with what you have, where you are. Theodore Roosevelt.
I hate you so much right now.
You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, man. Inception, Interstellar, The Dark Knight Rises,
Movies.
Christopher Nolan. All right? That's where. Good job, Todd. Way to Google that real fast and read those quotes.
I don't
to
know what
me.
you're talking about. Those were all right in my old noggin.
All right, let's finish with this last scene. So this last scene is Rebecca, who does not know Chilton has decided to stay. She goes in and she essentially is like, hey, thanks for calling me out. And I know you're leaving, but like next time, like understand that I've created a space in order for you to like push back, but do it with a little bit more like empathy and respect. And like she's like lecturing her at the same time trying to let her know that she's discovered she is a feminist and all of this. This fell really flat to me because then Chilton's like, hey, I'm staying. And Rebecca's got to kind of act like awkwardly fake excited. I don't know. This just, I did not get the vibe here. It was all weird. And I cannot blame that on Chilton just being kind of like a deadpan. It just did not work for me in terms of where this all goes.
Yeah, and that's, I think, my point at the start of the episode of, like, this whole feminine storyline and plot of her kind of questioning it. I think it's fine, but, like, the way it ends here, and I guess she's just being the polar opposite of Lasso with the be curious, not judgmental. Like, she very much says, like, to Chilton, like, hey, be less judgmental, show empathy, when essentially it's, like, the exact opposite. Like, Rebecca should be doing this with her relationship here. So, yeah, I don't get it. And maybe there's more to their background and past that the show is just not telling us about yet. That might round this out a little bit. But yeah, I don't love this for Rebecca as a character. It's not entertaining to watch.
Well, that's fair, but I felt like we were bringing it to a close. I feel like since we've thrown the viability report, we've burned it, that she is going to be more like all in and focused. But I could be wrong. We'll see in episode 3. Overall, I laughed quite a bit, and it was good to have some of the old gang back together. Once again, I cannot watch this show with children in, 100 yards distance because of Roy Kent and what he brings to the table with his language. But I, as an adult, find him absolutely delightful. With that, Tom, unless you've got final thoughts, we can enter everyone's favorite audience corner. We had several emails because the old Lasso crew has gotten back together. And so we do appreciate hearing from people. You can reach us at teambingepodcast@gmail.com with thoughts on the show, things we missed. If you have questions about life that you'd like Tom and I to solve for you, send those. If it's about breakfast, just send those to Tom. He's got that all figured out. But we also, if you would do us a favor, I talked about Spotify earlier. Once again, rate and review on that. Next to the gear, 3 dots, go down, rating, 5 stars, boom. And then also,
Julian just found out how to use a smartphone.
right?
Go on.
You swipe, and then you could push. There's no buttons, but you just push the screen. It works like a charm. Also, if you would be so kind on Apple Podcasts, you can rate and review there. 5-star reviews we will read on the pod and give you a shout because we appreciate you taking the time. Once again, it just helps us out as we grow this podcast. But Audience Corner, we got an email from John M. It was good to hear from John M. I did want to point out that John and my wife had a similar issue with the first episode of Lasso, where in my wife's case, she was looking at her phone when the kid at the grocery store stole the cigarettes. So Ted just starts stealing things, and my wife was like, why is Ted stealing things? And she was very confused as to why he was at a grocery store stealing things, because she missed him trying to teach that young man a lesson. And John M. had a very similar experience.
Listen, this show is not a 2-screen experience. You gotta just focus, pay attention as we take notes of doing this podcast.
You gotta focus. That's right. We got a nice email from Michael G. We heard from Barrett. We've also heard from some people on Reddit, and a lot of people were kind of pointing out some of the Easter eggs. And so, if people don't realize this, in that grocery store is called like Fauci's Fine Foods or something like that. A callback being the gentleman that is the store manager who is eating a Butterfinger is Ted's childhood friend, Ronnie Fauci, who you're never supposed to take a Butterfinger from. That was that callback, as well as the store owner seems to have been a friend's older sister, like a Tom Deneen from a earlier Ted story as well. So a lot of that Kansas City stuff was like callbacks to stories that Ted had told. And so we appreciate those of you that are spotting those Easter eggs and sending them to us. I obviously didn't catch them. And then lastly, we were informed that song that plays at the end was by a band called the New Basement Tapes, which is a supergroup made up of Marcus Mumford and Elvis. And it was a good song. I didn't know. I thought Elvis was dead, if I'm being honest.
I think it was Costello. I don't think Presley, but I could be wrong. I mean, King is never really
that
dead,
would
right?
make more sense. That would make more sense. Elvis Costello would make more sense than the King, who is definitely not still living in Tucson, Arizona. And I've seen him and met him.
I do love those call-outs too. And again, because we watch this show, take notes, and podcast it right after, we don't always have time to kind of go through like threads and find things that we missed. So if we didn't bring something up on pod, like Julian missed the Paddington Bear reference, definitely reach out to us on the socials at Team Binge or at Team Binge Podcast. A quick shout out to friends of the pod, Brent and Chili Mac, that have been liking our posts, reposting them on socials. Again, helping spread the Team Binge word. We really appreciate it. So yeah, I think it's I think this episode for me kind of really brought it back. I was a little bit skeptical about season 4, and episode 1 was fine, but this to me is like old school Lasso. New characters we're bringing in, and Alice Chilton I think are fantastic, and I'm excited for more.
Yeah, I'm excited as the cast expands and we get more storylines. I'm excited that the band's back together. And so for Team Binge, I have been Julian.
And I have been Tom. Till next week, everybody.